Yo, what is up, my Magic Knights? It is your boy Lota here, back with another BCM video, and in today's video we are going to be talking about a must-have unit, and that unit is, of course, the GOAT and the old man himself from Diamond Kingdom, Lotus. Now, is Lotus, you might ask? Now, he is a blue AoE debuffer that you can get off of your reroll banner, and he, in my opinion, and everyone else's opinion that actually plays the game optimally and competitively, he is going to be your #1 reroll unit. As you're rerolling, you're going to want to get Lotus, because if you do not get Lotus, PvE and PvP wise, you will be at a huge disadvantage, especially at PvP, where at the beginning of Global, you're going to see a lot of whales and free-to-place rushing to get to PvP before the others, mainly due to the fact that it's easier to compete with bots than it is to compete with other players to get the one-time rewards. Now, off rip, Lotus is an extremely strong unit that's built with magic attack and speed gear usually. As you can see, my Lotus is kind of low and I'm still using SSR gear on him. That's because I have not built him, but at the start of Global, he's going to be one of your best units, so you should definitely be prioritizing Lotus with gear. Now, something I do want to say is day 1 or day 2, even probably the first few days, do not worry about gear grinding. Whatever gear you have, toss it on. Just auto-equip, click auto-equip, bam, done. Doesn't matter what gear you have, you're not going to be gear grinding till you're done with the majority of your shit on Global Start anyways. So do not worry about, getting the most optimal gear, just like my Noel, which isn't even optimal. It's still being built till this day, and I've been playing for about 3 months. Now, off rip with Lotus, he is a character that cannot be replaced. Now, there are a few other characters on reroll banner that can definitely be replaced till you get them, but Lotus is one of the ones where he cannot be replaced by any unit in the game. He is a very special unit. Now, off rip, for leveling his skills, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to level his ult, because it incapacitates, removes all buffs, and reduces the enemy speed, which is going to allow your team to speed blitz and get back to the plate, which is going to allow them to attack again before your enemy. Now, this is an extremely good one because, as you can see, it does more damage and the buff removal activation rate gets increased. And his skill 1, which is just going to be his normal attack, is going to be his AoE, and you'll be using this a majority of the time. Gives reduced mobility % chance, which is extremely good. Now, his skill 2 is a very iffy, it's a very situational skill, so you'll always level this last. You always level this last because it's a one target thing, and as we said, Lotus is a big AoE character, so I think you'll barely ever use this, especially in PvP. PvE maybe, but outside of that, it's situational. Now, another thing you'll be leveling on him is his combined attack, and I say only level this if you have Mars in particular, because it gives reduced speed. His normal combined attack reduces mobility, but his united attack with Mars is going to be the one worth leveling. Now, as I stated in the other video, these are extremely hard to come by. You cannot farm these yourself, so something else that you're going to want to be farming is some talents. Now, the talents you're going to usually want to run on Lotus is Battle Frenzy and Increased Magic Attack. In the other video, I mentioned using Increased Attack in Battle Frenzy, but you do not want to use Increased Attack on him due to the fact that he obviously does not run normal attack, he runs Magic Attack. Now, for your defense, you're going to be running the normal Increased Defense and Endurance, and for support, you're going to be running Increased Damage, Res, and Swiftness. Now, outside of that, let's talk about his skill page. I myself still don't have his skill page after playing even for 3 months, but that's alright because there are a lot of skill pages you can use. Now, off rip, you can use Nebrez, I think this is her name. You can use Nebrez card. Now, it's alright for an SR, but if you have an SSR like the Breath of Darkness, which the game gives you 1 for free at the start, use this on Lotus. If you are boss grinding with Lotus, maybe use Breath of Flame or Breath of Water. But if you don't have any SSRs that you're willing to use, or you want to keep Breath of Darkness on one of your damage dealers, then use Mysterious Ancient Book, which gives damage dealt by 7%. It's an SR book, which is pretty accessible. If you are that horrendously down bad right now, then you can use Cursed Shackles, or you can maybe use Ice Lance. Now, Ice Lance I would not recommend because it's going to be a burn removal thing. I probably would recommend Aqua Blast more, but at this point, you're fiending for anything. Now, something else I want to talk about is day one with Lotus. You want to try to get him to UR as quickly as possible. I mentioned this in the first video. You want to UR your first 4 to 5 units day one. LR something that you won't be getting till day 2 or 3. Day 2 if you're really being optimal, but day 3 or 4 most likely for everyone. He's extremely useful unit though. And till this day, he still rules in the PvP meta. Like, as I like to always say, let's see if I can find someone here to well on with Lotus. But, so, ooh, that's interesting. Okay, so someone that uses Lotus is usually going to be a very irritating matchup. But at the start of Season 1, you're going to be seeing a lot of seasonal units, and even throughout Season 1, you're still going to be seeing units like Seasonal Mimosa, Blue Yami, and Seasonal Asta. Now, the meta going into Season 1 of Global's going to most likely be Licht, Raya, William, and Lotus, and that team, if you do not have Lotus, at the very least, is definitely going to crush you. You cannot do anything about that team. It is an extremely strong team that makes it hard to compete against, especially due to the fact that there's no one else that can replace Lotus compared to some of the other banner units that can be replaced pretty easily. Lotus is a special one. You cannot replace him, unfortunately. But that's also what makes him the #1 reroll unit, is due to his accessibility and how strong he is overall. Now, with Lotus, something that you're always going to want to watch out for is that he is kinda squishy in my opinion. You can definitely get killed off a lot faster, and people will be trying to kill off your Lotus if real-time PvP it comes on the start of Global, which I doubt it will be since real-time's supposed to be somewhere in December. But we will eventually get real-time PvP, and if you are running Lotus, he will be targeted quite a fucking bit. Now, that's alright, everything aside, as long as you have some defense on your Lotus. You don't want to put it all into magic attack, but as I said, day 1, day 2 of Global, you're going to not have too much access to everything that you could be potentially running. And that is perfectly alright. As you can see, my Lotus got absolutely mauled right there now, unfortunately. But he still did his job. He lowered defense, and he reduced the mobility of the team, which allowed me to speed blitz their team and go quicker. Now, outside of that, in tomorrow's video, I will be talking about another banner unit. I'm still in between which banner unit to talk about, but I will be releasing 2 more videos on banner units that you need to have. Now, they don't need to come off your banner rerolls because, as I said, Lotus is your #1 priority off reroll, but someone that you definitely do want to go for is going to be Mars and William. I don't know which order I'll do those 2 videos in, but no matter what, they're both units that need to be gotten on your account eventually. But at the start, and do not worry about this, this is why I say eventually, is because both of these units actually have a replacement. Unlike Lotus, Mars, you can use Soul, and William, you can use Finroll and Voltos for buffers. That doesn't downplay both of these characters, though. Mars is definitely the #1 defender and tank in the game, with William being the #1 support in the entire game. But outside of that, guys, I hope that you guys very much enjoyed this video. I will be dropping... we'll go ahead and drop Mars's guide tomorrow. So I'll be dropping Mars's guide tomorrow. I hope that that interests you a lot. And outside of that, hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace, everyone.